Well, good morning. It's no question that I like to think about cosmological concepts, the vastness of space and the infinity of time. So, naturally, a question comes up. You may have had that question at some point. And that is, how small are we? Well, let's put this into some perspective. The average adult human weighs 170 pounds. That's men and women combined. If you think about the Earth, what we're standing on and sitting on right now, the Earth weighs 6.58 sextillion tons. And if you want to know what that means in a number, that's it. But the Earth is really small. When you take the Earth and put it inside Jupiter, you can put almost 1,321 Earths in the fifth planet from the Sun. But Jupiter is really small. When you compare the Earth to the Sun, you can put 960,000 Earths into the Sun. But in our galaxy is a star called Scuti. It's a red giant. You can put 1,900 suns in Scuti. But that red giant is really small. Here you are in your galaxy. Your galaxy consists of 100 billion stars, including our sun and Scuti. Now, you know how fast light goes, probably from high school physics, but in case you have forgotten, it's 186,000 miles per second. So if I took this laser beam and shot it around the Earth, it could travel around the Earth 7.5 times in 1 second. Here's the deal. With light starting on that side of the galaxy and going to the other side, it will take 100 million years for light to travel our own galaxy. But our own galaxy is really small. That's because it's part of what's called the local group, of which the Milky Way, our galaxy, and Andromeda are the dominant galaxies. It takes light from here to go across the local group 110 million years. But the local group is really small also. And you Virgos out there would understand that we have this vast galaxy called the Virgo supercluster. And I misspoke. It takes light 110 million years to cross that and only 10 to cross the local group. Lots of figures here, right? But there are 100 billion galaxies. So the Virgo supercluster is also very small. It takes light 92 billion years to cross the galaxy. It'll never get there because the universe is expanding. So, I don't know if you're feeling a little bit small at this particular point, but let me cheer you up. On your face right now, you have between 1,000 and 2,000 Demodex mites. They particularly like your eyebrows. Now, if that kind of goes ew to you in your mind, the good news is that they eat dead skin cells and they give you free facials. But they are only 0.2 millimeters. So if you're feeling small, think about your Demodex mite. But, you know, the universe is really small because we know there's not enough mass in the Milky Way galaxy to hold the stars together. In fact, based on what we can measure, the stars will just spin off the galaxy like water off of a bicycle tire. Why does it hold together? Scientists call it dark matter, and it represents 90% of the mass of the universe, but we can't see it and we can't measure it other than its influence on gravity. And that mass, some theorize, are coming from other universes near ours. So there are many, many multiple universes. Neil deGrasse Tyson, who is the esteemed astrophysicist, took a look at us in terms of time, not just space. And he put the entire year on a 12-month calendar like you see there. Now, I know it's difficult to read, but I'll just give you the high points. So 13.8 billion years ago was the Big Bang, when the universe was the size of a proton. It took till September of that year, September the 6th specifically, for all the oldest rocks on our planet to form. Now, below this line is just the month of December on the cosmic calendar. So, for example, organisms with backbones like us first appeared on December the 18th. Hominids, our direct ancestors, first appeared at 8 p.m. on December the 31st on the cosmic calendar. Everything that we know as the human species collected over the last 55,000 years from 1.7 billion human beings that have been born has occurred in the last 3 seconds of the cosmic calendar. All the language, all of the art, all of the math, science, technology, and yes, Toastmaster speeches have occurred within the last 3 seconds on the cosmic calendar. World War II happened 0.2 seconds ago. This sometimes raises questions like, what is the purpose of life? Well, one way to think about the purpose of life is to acknowledge, this is not a religious or a spiritual conclusion, but to acknowledge that we were put here to figure out how the universe works. And as we increase our understanding of how the universe works, the universe becomes more complex. And as a result of becoming more complex, we defy the second law of thermodynamics and the law of entropy, which says that things go from organized to disorganized in the universe. That's the nature of the universe. But our complexity is actually defying the second law of thermodynamics. Well, just in case you're still feeling kind of small, the average human has 372 trillion cells. That means we have more cells than there are stars in the Milky Way galaxy by a factor of 37,200. And also consider our brains. They're really small relative to our body size, only 2%. But the human brain has 100 billion neurons. What does that map to? The number of stars in the Milky Way galaxy and the number of galaxies in the universe. And in the course of our 55,000-year history, we've been able to create all this technology, all these video cameras, iPhones, genomic sequencing, all of these amazing things within 2 or 3 seconds of the cosmic calendar. Wow. So as I think forward about the nature of our species, we are now 17 years into the century. But this will not be a century in which 100 years of progress occurs. Relative to all human history, in this century, we will have 20,000 years of progress. And you can just imagine what's coming. Some people would say this is kind of a discouraging view of things. It's kind of mechanical. For me, it's spiritually enriching. It is helpful for me to know that the elements of the universe that created me, the supernova that occurred 4.5 billion years ago that created this arm, is part of me, and it's elemental to me, and I find grace in that understanding. We are here to figure the universe out. And if you think about everything that I've just said, all the facts and figures that I've thrown at you, isn't it true that we're fairly tall, after all?